All right. Hello and welcome to the last brown bag series of the calendar year. I'm so excited you're sharing your lunch hour with us. I am Dr. Andrea Bowens-Jones. I am your co-host today, not just the host, but co-host, because I also have ZeEster Browning with me, who you'll hear from a little bit later. And if you joined us last month, we kicked off this final series in preparation to the Shine Conference. Today, last month, we talked about purpose, passion, and position. I'm so excited about our topic this month, where we're going to talk about creating momentum for your vision. So if that's what you're looking for, that's exactly what you're going to get with today. But before I start, I want to tell you a little bit about IDG Vision, the host of this series. This is one of the many things that I have the pleasure of doing. One is the brown bag is intended to create a space for us to be inspired, equipped, and join as a community. In particular, it's about hearing the voices of women. Through IDG Vision, I have the opportunity to provide one-on-one coaching, group coaching, all around personal growth, leadership, communication, and teamwork. I also offer DISC model human behavior development assessments, 360-degree assessment, customized coaching plans, and a host of other things. So if those things interest you, then visit idgvision.com. And then I'm going to turn it over to my co-host for some exciting news. Oh, you're muted. Or your volume is down. There we go.
Oh, here we go. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I'm absolutely excited about the Shine Conference. Woo! It's our inaugural dream casting brunch. You guys are all invited. We know that some of you have already registered. Please save the date for January the 13th. It's going to be at the Costly Mill Park Event Center in Conyers, Georgia, from 11:30 to 2 p.m. We're just going to have an amazing time. This is a precursor to that, and it's just about, as you see, seen, heard, inspired, nestled, and equipped. And we'll get into how you shine a little bit later, but we just want you guys to be excited about this conference that's coming. Be excited about you, because we're holding up a mirror to each and every one of you and helping you become all that God has created you to be, and to have the support that you need in all of those areas to really make 2024 the year that defines, expands, and really empowers and equips you for the coming year. So be there, RSVP, go to shineconference.org, and come on and join us. We're going to have a great time.
Awesome. Thank you, Z. And if you haven't taken advantage of early bird registration, it is still available. And you, like she said, we'll talk a little bit more about it later in today's programming. So we're here to talk about momentum and creating this momentum for our vision. And I'm going to stop the share right here and talk a little bit about the fact that when it comes to momentum, it is about getting started. And for those of you that have a little bit of a science background, then you know momentum is, you have to have a little bit of velocity behind it. There's a mass involved with it. And all those things go to define what it is. But this kind of momentum we're talking about is getting things started. Oftentimes we spend our time being stuck, and we have those woulda, coulda, shoulda lists, you know, those lists that we don't have anymore because we have momentum for our vision. But those kind of lists can kind of keep us trapped. So today's topic, and I'm so excited about our panelists because their stories are all inspiring. We're going to talk about creating that momentum for your vision. But before I have them introduce themselves, I'm going to do a short poll. This is where you get involved and to answer the poll, to let us know what are the things that people are dealing with. So I'm going to launch it. It'll be on the screen. Just 5 short questions, all having to do with purpose, passion, and momentum, the things that we've been talking about for the last 2 months. So go ahead and respond to the poll.
And we also have a question in the chat about us saying more about the target audience for, I'm assuming for the Shine Conference, whether it be employers, employees, Who are we looking to come together with? And you want to answer it after the poll, or we can just talk about it now?
You can talk about it now while we're waiting for everyone to answer.
So really and truly, the Shine Conference is for all ages. It's really for, we are targeting our women, you know, empowering ourselves for this particular conference. Most of the time, we are the ones that we're always making sure that everyone else is taken care of. And we've decided that we wanted to pause for the cause and really highlight the moms, the aunts, the daughters, the sisters, the cousins, the granddaughters, and create an environment for us all to come together and support each other, like we oftentimes spend that energy supporting other people. So being poured back into, being highlighted, being seen, being heard, being inspired, being nestled, and being equipped as entrepreneurs, as daughters, as mothers, as students, whatever your path, whatever your dream, we're casting that dream on January the 13th. And we want you to bring everybody, bring your whole family. I'm bringing all my sisters, my nieces, my grandmothers. We're bringing everybody because of how important it is for us to find and to cast that dream and to have the support and for where we're going in 2024 and beyond.
Here.
Awesome. So true. So that means we're going to see everybody there. All right. So hopefully everyone had a chance to answer the poll. I'm going to end it now and I'm going to share the results so we can get into today's discussion. First question: in the last 6 months, I have felt like I was trading my passion for a paycheck. And it looks like most people, 60% disagree with that. But we got 70% then disagree. 30% agree. I am confident that I am operating in my purpose. We have a broad distribution of that one with about half, a little over half in the agree. And then I felt like I am perfectly positioned to make progress. And then we have 11% strongly disagree, 22% disagree, and then the other half or so, a little over half, agree with that statement. And then number 4, I have a vision for 2024, which is what we're going to kind of get into now and as we prepare for the conference. 6%, so a little over half of you have a vision that you're walking into. I love that. 66% do not. And then our final question is, I have momentum for my vision. So you started moving in that direction. So 22% disagree. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. And those that agree that you have momentum. We also believe that there is something in today's discussion that will be a blessing to you as well. All right. So with that being said, are we ready to get started? All right. So for everyone else, a little etiquette. Please remain on mute. You can use the chat function to drop your questions in. You don't have to wait to the end to be able to ask your questions. Okay. So we're going to start off with introductions. And I'm going to just go across the screen here. Why don't we start with Karen? Karen?
Hey, my name is Karen Allen, and I'm an author, a speaker, and I am the owner of Habitat for Health, which is a health coaching company. I'm a certified health coach, and I love helping people win in their health. And I coach a high-level nutrition plan as well as habits of health. And it is an incredible honor for me to help people walk in health and wholeness on this side of heaven. And so it really is a passion of mine to make sure that people are walking in that way. And it's amazing to help people walk and transform their lives one healthy habit at a time. So I'm super excited to be here today.
All right. And can you respond to the question? To me, creating momentum for my vision means. What does that mean?
Creating momentum for my business is really twofold. The first one is to remember your why. You've got to remember why you said yes to this in the beginning and why you are continuing to say yes to it now. Remembering your why puts that focus in front of you, and it reminds you why you pressed forward. But not only do you have to remember your why, creating momentum also for me means you have to develop yourself. And y'all are amazing examples, because you're right here on a Tuesday at lunch and you are developing yourself as a leader. So if I want to create, because by the way, y'all can't pour from an empty cup, can you? And so when we develop ourselves, we actually are providing the ability to fan the flame, to flicker that flame of momentum forward. I love that John Wesley said, if you will set yourself on fire with passion, people will come for miles to watch you burn. And that's momentum. And you do that by remembering why you're doing what you're doing, and definitely investing in developing yourself as a leader.
Awesome. All right, Melissa, and don't forget to respond to the same question. What does it mean to create momentum for your vision?
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Melissa D. Hill, and I like to say that I am in the dream business. I am the CEO of Make Dreams Happen Mortgage, as well as the CAN Foundation. The CAN Foundation helps entrepreneurs locate and launch their dreams. And I'm also the founder of the annual Dream Day Conference. And the conference is a place where we help women, minority, and marginalized communities discover wealth pathways where they can grow, start and scale their dreams. To create momentum for your vision means to me, well, the Word of God tells us to write the vision, make it plain, so those that read it can run with it. So in order to create momentum, that means that your vision has to be clear. So creating momentum is perfecting that vision, perfecting that message, because with your vision, you are called to a certain tribe. And when people are able to see your vision, able to hear your vision, able to connect with the vision, then they will automatically, come to you. And those are the feet and the hand that you need in order to make your vision, grow and start. So I think the momentum comes with the perfecting of your vision, your statement, your why.
Awesome. And Joy, come on, get a piece of this.
Hello. I am Joy Douglas with JLA Hair Design Salon and Boutique, where we're enhancing your natural beauty in a timely manner through wardrobe, makeup artistry, and hairstyling, as well as gifts of joy as a motivational speaker, where I'm motivating you to manifest your truth. What it means to create momentum for me, for my vision, is seeking God for every detail, because I trust that He's given me the vision. And as Melissa said, the word says to write the vision and make it plain. And so I cannot write something unless He gives it to me. And so I trust Him for every single detail of my life and for the vision and purpose that He's created me for. It is not always easy. It is sometimes very challenging to even see the vision and see the vision clearly. And so if I'm not seeing the vision clearly, I cannot walk in that vision clearly. So I say for me to be able to create momentum for my vision is to be able to seek God in every single detail of that vision.
Awesome. I think we are ready to start, right? Turn it over to Lucy for the next question.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So, when we look at momentum, I know all of us who have been in business or transitioning into business, you've had that point where, you're pressing forward and you're putting all of your energy into it and it's not moving forward. What are some things that you can give us as far as in that process of momentum? Momentum, you start with applying that pressure, and there is a moment in which you are not moving forward before you have that breakthrough and that burst where you move forward and you're progressing. What are some of the tools or some of the ways that you individually, each of you, have overcome those moments when you felt stagnant? and needed to move forward.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead, Joy. You start, sister. Go ahead.
Sure. I just wanted to say, with me, it's having to sit still.
Mm.
I have to sit still because a lot of movement when I'm not clear um, can really cause more damage than good. So I find myself having
Absolutely.
to sit still to actually hear and get direction about how to move forward. You all will hear me say throughout this luncheon that um, God is definitely how I have to get direction and guidance because none of us are here by ourselves. None of us can operate in our purpose and our gifts and our talents on our own. And so, because I have to seek God for every single detail of what I am supposed to do every single moment, I don't always hear it clearly because of the distractions. But being able to sit still a lot of times allows me to hear what I need to hear so that I can move forward.
That's so good. So I feel like, first of all, if you are not facing resistance in your business or in your life, then you probably aren't doing it right. I mean, there's always going to be an obstacle. And I think we have to remember to embrace the obstacle as the way. And when you can embrace the obstacle as the way, you settle into that. I always say this, resistance is real, but so is persistence. So when I think about overcoming the obstacles, first of all, what's the obstacle and how can I lean into that? If my obstacle is people, and that's where I feel like, oh, I'm getting stuck on this side of it, this with people, then I need to figure out how do I embrace that as the way. And instead of people being my obstacle, people be my vehicle. And so whatever that looks like. So I think it really is just embracing embracing the obstacle as the way, leaning in, perseverance. We know that the perseverance that we acquire when we walk through trials, what it develops, right? It develops more in us because we face that adversity or we face that resistance. And so I used to hate feeling like, oh my gosh, here's the resistance again. But I learned that when I said, okay, here's the resistance again, I got you. I ain't scared. And we press in and press through. It does something in you and it does something for you. And for me, I think that's how I do it. So I just have to embrace. It stinks when you face the obstacles, and it stinks when you have resistance. But when you have a different perspective of it, it doesn't change the circumstance, but it does change how you walk through it.
And
Absolutely. Melissa?
Okay, I would have to piggyback on both what Karen and Joy said, but first we have to remember when you have a vision, vision is coupled with a mission. Vision is your long-term goal, but your mission is what you have to do day to day in order to make sure that you are moving forward towards that vision. So anytime you face an obstacle, you need to go back and look at your mission statement. Am I doing everything that I was instructed by God to do? Make sure that you are in proper alignment first. If you are in proper alignment, then also remember that the Word of God says that everything works together for our good. And a lot of times you face resistance, you face obstacles because you have come to a place of complacency. And it's just like when you work out, Karen, you get to a certain weight and that weight becomes easy. So that means that now we need to increase the weight. And with the increasing of weight comes growth. So it's like a mind shift. Instead of looking at it as a negative thing, this is something that's placed inside of me to help me grow, to unlock a key that I haven't tapped into yet. So I am in complete agreement with what Joy and Karen said.
Absolutely. I hear the thread, Dr. Andrea, that is perspective. That as you mature, as you grow, as you continue in the cycle of wins, ups and downs, you learn that even when you feel that resistance, or even when it feels like you're not moving, that there's always benefit, there's always progress, even in standing still, as Joy spoke about, just standing still and just really being able to be in tune and in alignment, as Melissa said, to know when to progress, when to stand still, and also having the perseverance when it's time to move, like Karen has spoken. So this is all good stuff. I hope you guys are getting this, because this is good stuff. I'm definitely going to examine some of these obstacles and some of these things that I have been experiencing lately. Absolutely. Thank you, ladies, for those wonderful answers.
And ZeEster, I just want to add something. As Karen was saying, is how we look at things. It's amazing because we hear the term the glass is half full versus half empty. And if it's always full, then we'll never have any room for anything else new. And so even as Melissa said, all things work together for our good. So being able for those obstacles to come, we need those things in order to fill us where we need to be filled. And so sometimes we do need to be emptied out in order to be able to walk in the new part of our purpose, the new part of the plan. Because if we're still doing the same things that we've been doing, what's the point? There's no room for growth. So it's definitely a blessing. The obstacles are a blessing. And I like how Karen put it, how she changed her voice to say how she looks at it versus how she was looking at it before. So being able to look at it as the glass is half full versus it being half empty.
That perspective matters.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I have a question, if I can jump in, and it just, as I was listening to you ladies talk, I think the way it started, sit still and hear, that whole sitting still. I'd love for you to be able to share with our attendees today what you do personally to keep yourself encouraged. Like, what is your trick, your thing that you do to keep yourself encouraged while you're building momentum for your vision?
Well, for me, it's just staying before God, because God imparted you with the vision. He imparted you with the mission. So to stay encouraged, you have to stay connected to Him to get more information about, okay, am I on the right path? What do I need to progress forward? You have to go to the person who imparted that into you. So just stand before God and just making sure that I'm hearing clearly from Him.
I love it, Melissa. And I feel the same way. I feel like mine is also twofold in the way that the first thing that I do when if you haven't, I'm just going to say this, y'all, if y'all haven't hit a spot in your business or in your life where it's felt kind of dry and like you in the desert and you by yourself and it's hard, like if you haven't gotten there, would you call me and tell me how that happened? Because I don't know what that feels like, you know, and I've had an incredible business, but there are seasons where it just feels so different. And I use the phrase, it used to, y'all, it used to be like this. I used to do this. And now, and by the way, the used to that's just combative for me now. Cause I'm like, I can't walk in the used to. I got to walk in the what is now. And what is now is it's hard and it's dry or it's whatever. And so the two things that really do this for me, that really encourage me in those dry seasons, is the first one is you have to make sure you're surrounded with people that will encourage you. Now, I didn't say that they were yes people. I don't want yes people. I don't want people just tapping me on the back saying, you're doing a good job. I need people who are going to encourage, means to infuse strength into you. And I need people in my life that are going to infuse strength into me when I need it. I need those people who are going to say, this is what I see. This is how I see it. I love having people in my business that do that, like that are a part of what I do. But I also love, because they're going to speak directly and very specifically to my season that I need help with, right? But then I also love having people outside of that business that they're going to have, again, a different perspective, and they're going to be able to encourage me as well. So I love having people around me that are going to encourage me. But the second thing that I do, and it's what Melissa talked about, The Bible's really clear. David in 1 Samuel, the Bible says that David was greatly distressed. I don't know if you ever felt greatly distressed, but I have. I was greatly distressed, for the people spake up. They talked about stoning him because the soul of all the people were grieved, and every man and all of his sons and daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. So there are times where we need people to encourage us, but then we have got to sit in a place where we encourage ourselves in the Lord our God. And that's when you sit with him and you say, okay, Abba, this is where I'm stuck. This is where I'm discouraged. This is where I need help. And I'm going to encourage myself in the Lord my God. And I think when you have people speaking outside of you, outside into your spirit, and then you've got someone speaking inside of you, which is what the Holy Spirit does, I think that right there, how can you not be encouraged, y'all?
Mhm.
You're getting it from all sides. And
Right.
so for me, that's how I encourage myself when I am in that place, that hard place.
Wow, I agree with both Melissa and Karen. Honey, we have Bible study on here today, and I needed that. It is amazing. And the first thing that comes to mind is seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of his righteousness. And all of those things will be added unto you. And so that's what I do. I seek him in that quiet place, understanding, first of all, acknowledging. Well, let me go back. Karen, I am like the modern day David. That doggone David was off the chain, but he was a man after God's own heart. And so I trust that I am a woman after God's own heart, even with all of my flaws and all of the things that I do not understand. But being able to seek God to get understanding of why am I here? What am I here for? If the fact that you have not called me home yet, there is a purpose and a plan still for my life, in spite of the circumstances and situations that I find myself in, whether it's personally or in business. And so, being able to seek God that's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to seek Him for every single detail that I need. And when we find ourselves in obstacles and situations and circumstances in business or in just in home life, period, in life, because we're living, that's such a joy that comes without even understanding, that peace that comes that surpasses all understanding, to say that, you know what, I'm seeking you and I don't know what you're going to tell me, but just the fact that I'm seeking you, it gives me peace and it gives me an understanding that I didn't even know that I had. And so that joy that comes just with seeking. But honey, I didn't went all off on what the question was, but but those are the things that come to mind, is just being able to seek God in every single thing, because we cannot do this without him. I tell people all the time, especially those that sit in my chair, if you want to start a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you sure better be a person of faith. You cannot do this without being a person of faith. And I trust that you're a person of God's faith, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to make it and handle it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Wow. Because I know all of us can relate to needing encouragement and having those individuals that are outside of ourselves sometimes that encourage us, but also being in a place where it's just you and God, that there is no other person that can bring you solace, that you might not even speak or even tell anybody what's going on, but you need that time, that interaction, that alignment, that understanding. And I think it goes back to a lot of the things, the thread that's being woven is vision. And that's a part of what we're doing at the Shine Conference, that dream casting, being able to understand and identify your vision, identify your purpose. Because if you know what you are here and created for, then you can have the confidence of God. You can walk into the authority of God to do those things and go those places and be successful in those things that he's poured into you and he's identified as being your thing. And so I see that and being encouraged. One thing I just want to add is that when you see a vision, When God gives you a vision, it is his mechanism of internal encouragement, because when it does not look like what he has yet said, you know that it is not over, that there is more to come, that you have another day, that you will live to fight another day, that you will get up, that you will go, that you will progress, and that there is something on the other side of where you are right now. So vision is so important, and the perspective that you have while being in that dark place helps you see and remember what you were purposed for.
Yes, and being able to embrace where you are, no matter where you find yourself, be ye content. Being able to embrace where you are at that moment. And just like you said, ZeEster, the fact that God he hasn't given up on us. So we can't give up on ourselves and on the vision and also the provision. Having that vision and trusting that he will provide whatever resources, he provide whoever needs to be in our life, whoever needs to be in our path, having that trust, but being able to embrace who he is and who we are in him is a big stepping stone to be able to even walk in the vision. So to be able to embrace and be content no matter where you find yourself, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
Mm-hmm. One other thing, accountability, having accountability partners. I'm so blessed to have Dr. Andrea as one of my accountability partners, and even Dr. Melissa. I got all these doctors around me, y'all. These PhD doctors, they are my accountability partners in so many different lanes. And I would encourage you to examine your connections today and make sure you have people who can remind you when you don't look like what you told them God said you were. You know, they'll remind you, where's the smile? You know, where's the joy? Where's the peace? I know who you are. And that is something that's very important as well. And I think, Karen, you alluded to that as well. It's about having people around you that's connected to you that can encourage you. And encouragement is in the direction of purpose, in the direction of vision. Don't you agree, Dr. Andrea? You on mute.
Yes, I most certainly do agree. Yes, with all of it, and the common threads that you mentioned around vision, accountability, all those are critical for you to keep and maintain momentum, because it's not always pretty. There are days like you mentioned, Karen, those days where it does not look like what God said it was going to look like, or like what you said, Z, and the fact that God give you a snippet and makes you feel and see what it's like to walk into it, but you're not seeing the full manifestation of that vision. And you got to somehow keep yourself encouraged and moving in the right direction. Yes. So I'm going to ask another question, if you don't mind. This is one where I don't know if we have anybody on the call is struggling with it, but I'm always curious because I see it with some of the clients that I have, is there's often not a direct link between your skills, like what you feel like are your skills and what you possess today, and what you believe is necessary to pursue your vision. Skills don't align with that big vision. What advice do you have someone who is doubting their capability to achieve success because they look at the skills that they possess today?
I would say, ask David what he thought when he was walking up against old Goliath, right? He didn't have that people skill. He wasn't trained as a warrior, as a fighter, as a soldier. He was trained as a shepherd who happened to also play the harp and was great at music too, which God used that later in his life as well. But if someone had walked up to him and said, David, this is what we need you to do. This is, by the way, this is like your thing. He's gonna be like, no. My thing is taking care of sheep. My thing is killing the bear and the lions. Like, that's my thing. Like, that's what I do. And what I would say, I mean, how many times have we done that? Oh, I'm not equipped for. Oh, that's not a gifting. That's not my skill. That's not. And the Lord's going, y'all, I used David. I use David to show you that all you have to be is surrender to my call, and I will fill in the rest. I will help you slay the dragon. I will help you cut the head off the giant, because what I'm doing in you is something you can't do for yourself. Can we hone skills? Yes. Can we learn things? In fact, we need to. That's what developing a leader is all about. But if we look at a vision and all we see is the things that we can't do, we've taken the power away from what God can do in us. That's what we've done. When we say, I can't because I'm not, God's going, I can and I will. And we've got to remember that if we don't have a certain skill set that we think needs to happen for the vision that God's placed in our lives, do we not remember that God's the one that gave us the vision, so he's going to provide the rest? So I would say that if someone's like, I'm doubting my abilities, I would say, good.
Wow.
Doubt your abilities. Don't doubt God's. And then I would just remind my friend, whoever that was, who said to me, I'm doubting my abilities. I would say, listen, David. David had no idea that he was about to slay a Goliath giant until he did. And he used everything that God had equipped him with in the past to do it. He used the memory of the bear and the lion and the times when he protected the sheep, and one little bitty stone. God's put more stones in you than you can even imagine.
Mhm.
Mic drop. Wow.
Anybody else?
One stone.
Well, I would say that a lot of times we say that we don't possess the skills because we're looking at our self-identity, not our God identity. That's what Karen is saying. If God gave you a vision, then he's already equipped with you everything on the inside of you that you need. It's just you saying yes to God. Sometimes the hardest yes are the keys to open your biggest opportunities. And with you saying yes, he begins to open windows and doors of opportunities, and you begin to learn more about yourself than you ever knew. So it's just saying yes, trusting God, and trusting that if he gave you a vision, then he also provided a pathway and a provision to complete the promise.
I would say to anyone that's doubting their capability to achieve success, I agree with Melissa and Karen. And just to add to those, to what they've said, is check your definition of what success is. Because everyone's view of success is different. And so if your view is someone else's, what they're trying to achieve and accomplish, and it's not reality to you, then you need to check what success looks like. Seeking God for what do you say? How do you say I'm successful? And I'll just share a personal testimony. I was interviewed when I first opened the salon on what success. The last question the young lady asked me was, what does success look like for me? At that time, success looked like just being able to pay my bills. That was success for me. And so not having what anyone else's definitions are, but seeking God for where am I at in this moment, in this time in my life, in this time in my purpose, in this time in a part of the vision that you've given me. What does success look like for me? So if we take our eyes off of what everybody else's means and what everybody else's achievements look like and what everyone else is doing, and focus on what is it that I need to be doing, what is it that I'm purposed and created to do, then the doubting will probably go away. The doubting, because we tend to compare ourselves of what someone else is looking like, What is that other stylist? How many stylists does she have? How many chairs does she have? Is she full? Is that boutique selling out of everything? And so being able to take the doubting away is being able to take your eyes off of everyone else and putting your eyes on the prize that God has put in front of you.
If I can just add, I think what makes us most afraid or most insecure is being self-conscious, being aware of our limitations, and as Joy said, comparison. But one of the things that I use is turning my attention to God and being God conscious, being aware of where I am in proximity to Him, in proximity to what He's spoken for me to do. And that's the awareness you need, is your alignment to the truth that God has spoken over your life versus your vision or your sight of the things that are around you, what you are capable of. I am not capable of doing what God has told me that I will accomplish in my lifetime. I'm not able to do that. But God is able to do it, so I rest in Him, and I rest in His instruction, His guidance, and He puts you in a position where you are, you have a choice, and you can exercise that choice of inclining your ear to Him and being obedient and walking the way that based on the instruction. And we walk by faith and not by sight. And so I think doing those things and exercising. I know you guys have heard a lot of word today. One of the greatest books ever written is the Bible. Some of the greatest stories ever told are some of the greatest leadership examples from business and armies and kingdoms are in the Word of God. And I think it's just apropos to reference those things because, quite honestly, I've been sent several times to the Word of God to gain strategy for the season that I am in. So I just wanted to let everybody know, that's a great book. It's right up there. One of the greatest of all times.
That's awesome. I love this last segment, if I can just hop in on here, is the fact that in this last segment, we talked about our identities being defined not by our own limitations. But I want to talk about labels a little bit because that's the way the world kind of communicates toward labels. You're a mom. It could be these simple labels. You're a mom, you're a wife. And with those labels, they connect with it a certain behavior. Okay, if you don't act like or you don't show up like that particular label and the behavior that's associated with it, then something must be wrong with it. So I want to just spend a little bit, and I know we're almost getting to the top of the hour, to talk about redefining those labels that people have put on us, or even the labels we have put on ourselves. And if any of our panelists today and our co-hosts, if you can speak to those labels that maybe you absorbed and how you kind of shed those off as you took on more of your God identity, I'd love to hear you expand on that. I know it's not on the list of questions. It's an audible.
Well, I would go first. I am a mother, and I know it was a traumatic shift for me when my son graduated high school, and I was like, oh my gosh, who am I? Because I've always been Ashton's mom. You go to school activities or you go to football games or baseball games, they have, hey, Ashton's mom, and you just take that on. And so I had to okay, who am I now? He's out of the house, he's grown, he has his own identity. Who am I? But it is with me finding my purpose in God that I found out that my number one most important label is being a servant of God. If I am being a servant of God and I am doing what He has called me to do in service to Him, then I will emulate Him and people will see God in me. And that is the most important label that I carry.
Ooh, love it. Anybody else want to jump in on this audible question that I threw out there?
Yeah, I'll jump in. As you were, as Melissa was talking, I was thinking about all the different labels um, that are on me and that have been on me. Being a daughter, being a mother, being a wife, being a business owner, being a singer, being a motivational speaker, being Reverend Harris's daughter. All those different labels, but the one that that I struggled with the most, that I'm learning to embrace, is being a daughter of the King. Because I can't be any of those other labels unless I embrace and enjoy being God's daughter. And so I often have had to tell my adult daughters to embrace who you are before you start trying to connect with somebody else. And so being able to learn, or still learning who I am as Joy, because I was given that name for a reason. Learning who I am, Joy, so that I can be the daughter, be the mother, be the business owner, be the wife, so I can walk in those things in excellence. But I struggled for years knowing who I was. And so I like Joy now. I actually like Joy because I'm learning who she is every single day and being the best Joy that I can possibly be.
Awesome.
I like
hello,
Joy too.
hello.
I do too.
Hello.
Yeah.
I would like to say, I'm sorry, but I have to get ready to go to work. My name is Jennifer Scott, but I would like to say sometimes we label ourselves and we put high expectations on ourselves and try to accomplish those. And then we feel, sometimes we fall short. And then that's where we get weak or depressed or so forth. But as the lady was saying, it's more important to find out who we are in Christ and what our purpose, and allow God to label us.
Thank you.
So good. So I
Can
think,
I just add an adjective? Privileged daughter of the King. You are, that's what you're, privileged. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Karen, but I just had to add that, because that's something that I put on myself as a privileged daughter of the King.
amen. I love that. I think about all of those labels that everyone has said. And those are positions, whether it's a daughter, a wife, a mom, like those are positions, right? I think, and that can be heavy, but I think for women, I think what can be even heavier are the labels that we carry that have nothing to do with our position, but with our past. And meaning we've got these banners over us that say not good enough. We have banners over us that say divorced. We have banners over us that say just I mean, there's so many things I think about, that the banners are not skinny enough, not pretty enough. We have these banners that say broken, damaged, messed up. I mean, there's all these banners. And then I remember in Song of Solomon 2:4, it says, he brought me to the banqueting table, and his banner over me is what? So we have these banners that are flying big and bold about all the things that we've done, who we are, who we feel like we are, who we feel like we're not. And Jesus leans down and says, oh, beloved, the banner over you is love. It's love. And it's his love for us, which in turn is our love for other people. Because you know what our love for other people will do? It will help break down the banners over their head. And so when we fight labels, we don't fight labels like somebody who doesn't know Jesus fights labels. They have love over their head too, but we have the love where we've received it. And we are privileged daughters of the King. And so when I think about the labels that we walk in, the biggest label, the best label is the banner that waves over my head. And that banner is the same banner that waves over your head. And it's love.
Awesome. All right, we are almost out of time. Co-host Z, do you have any final questions or anybody in the chat before we wrap up this inspiring conversation today? Uh-oh, you're on mute.
Oh, goodness. I don't have any final questions, but I do have an observation that I hope that everybody has leaned in. I feel like there was something here for everyone today, that we needed to know the core, the foundation, and that we needed to invite this wonderful, wonderful Father of ours to highlight and promote who we are in this world, to project who we are. We need him. We need God. And I don't know if everyone's faith is the same, and there's no disrespect to any others who believe a different way, but I do see the power of the faith that we each have in God, and that it is one of those common threads that is beyond commonality, that is extraordinary, that allows us to be sisters no matter our background, where we come from, what color we are, what culture we are from, our ethnic, you know the word ethnicity. It's not right.
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity.
You know what it is. Our diversity. How about that?
I saw it on the page and I just couldn't get it out. My tongue was like, la, la, la. But I just think that it is just, again, an extension and a pathway to where we're going in January for the Shine Conference. And if you feel seen today, if you feel heard today, if you feel inspired today, if you need or feel nestled, and if you want to be equipped, then I would encourage you to come to this conference. Well, this year it's a brunch. It's a Dreamcasting brunch, and it's all about you. We don't have any special guests because you are the special guest at this year's event. Your dream is our platform. Your dream is the spotlight for all of us. And imagine being in a room with 100 people like ourselves, right? 100 of us talking and allowing the conversations and the imaginations of heaven to spark a fire in us and to bring that shine, to bring that brilliance, to bring that sparkle to the forefront of our lives. And we carry that light for the rest of this year and be able to recall and come back to and understand exactly who we are, and to be able to go into those dark places and still have light, to be the light in those dark places. I just think that this is just a small subset of what you will get in person. And one, I'm not just plugging this conference just because it's the conference that we're doing. I truly, truly believe that this is a place and a time that God has set aside for his daughters, his privileged daughters, to come together and to receive all the things that he has to be poured into you, to be equipped, to be ready for the journey ahead of you, to be full. If you've emptied out and poured out for all of 2023, come and be filled for your journey for 2024. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to be the one that is seen and not given a spotlight to others. Allow yourself to be heard and not be that person that's always a listening ear for someone else. Allow yourself to be inspired instead of you feeling like you got to be larger than life and inspire others all the time. Allow yourself to be nestled, to be embraced with and experience the warmth of sisterhood. Allow yourself to be equipped for what God has ahead. see, there's some things that you just can't do by yourself. And that's why he said where two or more are gathered. That's why he put Jesus sent them out 2 by 2. Can you imagine what a room of us can do together? See, I'm bringing my vision. I'm bringing my dreams. I'm bringing everything that God has for me, and I'm putting it in the room with you ladies. And I encourage you to do the same, because there is going to be a remarkable experience, one that you will never forget when we all come together. And so I just wanted to make sure, if somebody you know was not on this call, that don't know, that need what we are talking about today, please, please, please share this this time, because I'm going to tell you, God will be there. I'm going to tell you that dreams will manifest. I'm going to tell you that there will be encouragement. There will be strength. There will be power. There will be joy. There will be peace. There will be a righting of wrongs. I believe that when we get together with our intent and our hearts open, that God will come and he will make himself known.
Yes.
Beautifully said. And please join me in thanking our panelists today for being vulnerable, sharing their stories. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Joy, for that. And we hope that this will not be the last time that we will see you again. And just to kind of wrap up, this is the 14th conversation that I've hosted, over 44 women speakers, over 500 attendees. The entire Brown Bag series is to elevate the voices of women so that we can be inspired. Were you guys inspired today? I was.
Yes.
Enough on my page.
Yes.
You're inspired, educated on something maybe you didn't know. I got so many scriptures. Prophetess Karen was just working today for me to go do some homework on, and hopefully you felt like you were in a community, which is the intent. Like Z said, we hope to see you on the 13th. Be a sponsor, be a vendor, or just come and attend. And today's session was recorded. You will receive a link to the recording, as well as a link to go ahead and claim your early bird registration. Please do, if you're inspired today, put it on your social media and use the hashtags that are on the screen. So with that being said, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your lunch hour that you just gave to us. Hopefully you can go and eat, and we'll see you in 2024. Bye.
Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Yes, be blessed for sure.